Buddy, it's your old friend Kong, just getting ready to stream another Summit der Langrisser match, and currently, I believe the players are waiting on me, not the other way around this time. So I'm just going to quickly log into my chats here, and then let them know that we're ready to go. Ready to watch some intense Langrisser Apex Arena PvP among the best of the best. So, today we've got Lukcid versus Hayl in the top 16. And I'm just going to make sure that the Discord and that the players know that I'm now ready. You get to hear what a nice slow typer I am. Alright, let's throw that in my guild chat as well, since I know those guys are PvP friendos. Okay, so here we go. This is going to be Lukcid's account, and I believe I can spectate him, unless... Unless spectate mode is not on, so I'm just going to double check with them to make sure I actually am able to spectate. Okay, and the players are just adding each other right now. Hey John, hey Freed, welcome to the stream. This is going to be a really good game, I think. We've got Lukcid, who's a good all-round player, obviously. I think he has... Well, I'm not sure what he's been playing lately. Some of the players have changed their box with the recent Covenant innovations. So he had a balanced trade box before. I'm not sure if he switched over to Heimdall to run something tankier. But as we all know, Hayl is pretty famous for running a very bulky, very tanky... kind of like indestructible type approach. So, here's the thing though, in tournaments that can be tricky. Now obviously Hayl's in the top 16, so that hasn't been a problem for him yet in this Summit der Langrisser. But obviously Nevercid or Lukcid knows the style of game that Hayl plays. He knows the kind of pick and ban that he prefers. He knows the units that he uses to carry him to victory. So we'll see if that's something that Lukcid plays around. Alright, so we're getting started with the first game, pick and ban. Yeah, Lukcid did win one of the earlier seasons. I forget exactly which season it was. Okay, so Lukcid not opting to first ban this Landius. He bans the Rosen Seal. And Hayl, no surprise here, first picks Landius. That's a very common strategy that we commonly see Hayl do. He likes Landius. He has him built really thick, but Landius also offers a really nice aura. Incoming range damage reduced, incoming crit chance reduced, so he uses this to kind of bulk up the rest of his team. And if Lukcid wants to get around that and kill some of these other thick units behind Landius, it'll be interesting to see what his approach is. So Hayl goes with the first ban, Watham, who is a threat to Landius. He can strip Landius's buffs, he can potentially kill Landius, although I doubt he'd one-shot Hayl's Landius. Some other threats in this box, specifically against Hayl, would be the Werner, who's a very strong assassin who can get around the Landius guard. Oboro as well, if Lukcid is able to slow down the play enough that this Oboro lasts long enough to get all 4 stacks, then Oboro can ignore guard as well. Okay, so interesting. Lukcid is getting rid of Hayl's Oboro. Now that's a common unit we've seen Hayl pick in this comp. He'll often go with a tank, a couple healers, and an Oboro as his carry. Oboro off the table for this game at least. Vice, welcome to the chat. Will, welcome to the chat. Yeah, this is going to be a hype game for sure. This is 2 good players who play extremely different styles. Okay, so Lukcid is going with that first pick Werner, so he's going to be the unit that Lukcid is relying on to kill things around this Landius. We'll see if it works. Okay, Hayl going with Jugler here. Not a unit that I commonly see Hayl use. Welcome to the chat, Creamy Mommy. Jugler has a lot of flexibility in this box for Hayl. He can definitely be used as a secondary tank. He also gives him a little bit of AoE potential protection if he thinks Nevercid is going to try to be using AoE to get through his Landius. Usually Hayl just uses tons of healers to get around AoEs. He constantly has a healer ready that he can heal up any damage. But we'll see. It'll be interesting to see. That's what I like about these tournaments, though. You kind of have to change your approach a little bit. So Lukcid, again, getting Oboro, Epsilon, and Werner, all these units who can hit really hard and essentially don't have to worry about the Landius. It's just a question of if Hayl gives them units that that are worth killing. So Sage brings another aura. He can also revive. And Hayl's just going to get another healer for his 5th pick. So he's basically going to have 2 Landii, 2 healers, and a Jugler. Straw, not super impressed with the draft already. Will, your keen eye for CoCast is going to be very appreciated in the chat, though, because I can't really man the chat, the typing fingers, so you're my man on the ground there. Preview for Fair Arena, good point, Creamy Mommy. Yeah, you're right, it is going to be kind of like a tanky, slow meta for Fair Arena, or we'll see how the meta in Fair Arena firms up. I think a lot of people don't really know what they're doing today. So, yeah, on Lukcid's side, we've got kind of a dream team of 4 assassins. Well, I'm considering Oboro as an assassin here. Hayl is definitely not going to be able to take this Oboro off the board within 4 turns. He doesn't have any DPS. I guess maybe the Sage? If he's feeling really brave, he can try to get Oboro off the board with a Jugler-Sage combo somehow. But I have a feeling we're going to see a stacked-up Oboro alongside these other assassins. And Lucretia's just here for good measure, basically. Yeah, I agree with Red. This is not even really typical Hayl style. This is like Hayl 2.0, next level Hayl. Alright, we will, for the sake of argument, take a look at what these units are. It's not a Cav Jugler, which is to be expected. It's basically a normal AoE Jugler. He's got Master of Ice on there. We do have the Revive and both AoEs on Sage. He doesn't need his faction buff because Landius is going to bring the faction buff. We have Sophia partly for Rewind, but more so on this team for the extra defense that she offers from casting her skills. Yeah, that's right, Will, no Beast Shock, so no real offensive utility on that Jugler. It's just a pure AoE Jugler. We got all single target onto Lucretia, no big surprise there. Oboro is going to get himself into hiding position. And I have a feeling the rest of Lukcid's units are going to be pretty predictable. Yeah. So, normally at this point in the game, I would ask the chat how they feel about each player's chances based on the pick and ban. But just from glancing at the chat right now, I already get the feeling that people think the advantage goes to Lukcid here. Creamy Mommy did bring up a good point, though, which is that Lukcid's team doesn't really have much in the way of natural heal. Like, the Oboro, Werner, Epsilon all kind of have a little bit of incidental healing. I guess Lucretia as well. But maybe one of Hayl's game plans is basically just to try to make sure he survives long enough and wears Lukcid's team down with some of these just AoEs and just hitting and living. So get Lukcid's units weak enough that he can eventually finish them off before his team is dead. So the question then for Lukcid is going to be, can he just straight up kill these units before Hayl has a chance to wear him down? So will Lukcid outpace the attrition strategy? I think Lukcid is obviously anticipating that that's Hayl's plan, so he's going to do everything in his power not to let his entire team get smoked by AoEs, first of all. And he's also going to try to make sure that he's set up in such a way that when he does launch his attack, he'll be able to follow up and actually get something with it, instead of just throwing his units into the middle of the map and gradually hoping they're able to get kills. So he does get a breeze on his Werner there. Safe to say this Werner is going to be in attack stance. I think what I'll be most interested in here is who Lukcid decides to target first. Phil, if Langrisser ever became an esport or something similar, would I ever want to be an official commentator? Yeah, I'd be open to it. I don't think I have exactly the most insightful PvP commentary, because I'm not as experienced as someone like Will, who's in the chat, providing a little bit more in-depth analysis here. But obviously, over the past 3 or 4 years, I've demonstrated that I do like to comment on Langrisser stuff. So if it were an official thing, I think Zilong would come calling. It's not likely to happen now in the 4th year of a mobile gacha game on global, where they don't really pay too much attention to the players. But we'll see what happens in the future. Yeah, Will's a good commentator. I'd be happy to co-commentate with Will. I remember for a previous Summit der Langrisser, Will and I were actually... Oh, does Twitch still have me on East? Oh, they do. You boneheads. Thanks for pointing that out. Although I think most of the people who are coming here to watch TSDL know that this is Langrisser Mobile. Yeah, we were set up, Will and I, to do a cast of some game, I forget what it was, and then the player just, like, didn't open spectating on their match. They played secretly in the corner, and Will and I couldn't even comment on it. Play faster, please. No way for Hayl to win. Yeah, I mean, he has to hope that Lukcid lets him wear him down. Thank you for the follow, by the way. Edgar, Sage and Sophia, what am I missing? Basically, you're just missing Hayl gameplay. This is All-Star game Hayl. He likes to bring Sage. In this game, partly because of his AoEs, and he actually has decent single-target potential. But he likes to bring him for his aura, and because he's difficult to just kill in one shot. And he likes to bring Sophia because she casts plus defense on all his units. So Hayl's units are built for defense to begin with, but adding more defense on top of that makes it more difficult for Lukcid to secure an opening kill. Alright, so Werner getting himself on a tree, just giving himself another little advantage here. Nexus, welcome to the chat. Okay, we are going to get a Lucretia opener. This is just to put some damage on that Landius, to put a little bit of healing pressure on Hayl. Jugler is looking poised for a jump. With the small incidental healing that these guys have, I think Hayl's not going to want to just throw his Jugler away with a jump right away. I mean, theoretically, if he dives with his 3C, follows up with Master of Ice, then it's kind of okay for Jugler to die after that. Alright, no AoE healing, so that is an attack stance burner currently. But back to my earlier point, if Jugler jumps AoEs and dies, there's nothing stopping Lukcid from just slowing down the pace of the match and letting these guys slowly heal themselves back up before Hayl has a chance to come in with any follow-up. Irinoa, most Lucretia is on T-Star. Yeah, I've run into a couple of drop near Lucretias so far this season, and it threw me off. Alright, Hayl ready with turn priority. Beginning of a new turn. Is he going to open the action with this Jugler? Is it worth it to go now? Johnny, welcome to the chat. First time chat from viewer, Johnny, my guild leader. I've been streaming for how many years? The T-Star on Lucretia, that helps her secure kills against Azusa. Oh, Johnny used to lurk on a different account. That's fair, that's fair. So I'll go ahead and assume I've been benefiting from your viewership at least. Alright, this Werner stubbornly moving back onto his tree. He wants to be in the mix. He got a breeze again. Buffs are starting to wear down a little bit, and he is hurt here. I almost wonder if he's, well, if Jugler comes in, he's going to be hitting that Werner either way. I wonder if he switched him to defensive stance already. I don't necessarily think that going defensive stance right away is the best idea, because at some point, Lukcid does have to kill something, and he's going to want Werner to be in attack stance to do that. Johnny's just here to watch the McDonald's ads. Yeah, who's tried that new McDonald's McCrispy sandwich? Trademark symbol. If I keep saying stuff like that, do you think they're going to give me more revenue? I have to admit, I actually did go out and get one of them after seeing the ad. It's basically a McChicken sandwich, except made out of real chicken. Or real-ish chicken. This is going to turn into a McChicken commentary here if I don't rein it in. Yeah, I mean, if I had my choice, I'd be shilling for Arby's, not McDonald's. Let's be real. I'm gonna get Arby's to sponsor one of my episodes and just fill it all with meat puns. That's a great point, Coca-Cola Popinski. So far, Lukcid is still just trying to keep his distance, spacing out, ready for the initial attack here. You know what? I honestly think Hayl is more hungry for this win than Lukcid is. Hayl has, you know, he's got a following on main chord. He's got devotees who try to craft their boxes in a similar way as him. I know Tristan watches Hayl's games with great interest, for example. What he needs is a really nice, convincing tournament win. This is like our fake burger, but not fake. Play faster, please. Politely asking that these players play faster. It's fair. Alright, we're going to get another poke with the Lucretia. Again, I mean, all that's really doing... No debuffs on the Landius, thanks to Liana's thing. I guess what he's doing there, he's kind of forcing a heal for the start of next turn. He does still have Reaper. Alright, so Hayl knows that, so he's going to open with the splash first. So the question is, does Lukcid try to do something about this dog? Ronald Manrique, honestly, depending on what team you have already, I think choosing a tank from the Oathsworn sometimes is kind of a tall order. Yeah, this Jugler looks ridiculous, eh? So Lukcid knows he's about to take another AoE here. At least one. There's another AoE here ready. So Sage with 3 move. That's just a question of... Okay, Luxid's gonna see what Hayl wants to do next. He's got his Oboro ready, though. Ready for next turn. So he does get his Landius back up into shape. Still has a Jugler action, ready and waiting. Jugler's next explosion is gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. So the question for... Alright, let's see what happens here. Is Jug stunnable right now? Is that... No. No. Not stunnable. I think that was primarily to heal D-Heart. and get Jugler primed for follow-up. But if the follow-up is dead, well, she has her revive, so she won't die from an AoE. Alright, Landius moves in to cover the Jugler, so Lucretia's not going to be able to... Well, I guess Lucretia could target this and Jugler would guard it. Not even going for it. Shooting behind enemy lines. And pulsing the D-Heart, getting him ready. Well, we're gonna see Oboro soon. Yeah, Jenny, I think I would have gone for the Jugler too. The potential of, like, one-shotting the Sophia while she's not guarded might have been tempting. But she still had auras. Does Juke die to Werner? I mean, you've got double strike at least. Werner going for the Sophia as well. It's not happening. I guess that was the point of the Lucretia attack, was to prime the Sophia. Yeah, that's not happening. I don't know if Lukcid was maybe trying to play the long game there by getting rid of Sophia and then getting rid of her defensive boost for future turns. The rest of Hayl's units become easier to kill. So, Lukcid taking this valuable time while Hayl's using his backup time to think what his next move is. Alright, here's the follow-up AoE. No one actually dies from that, which is good for Lukcid. But they're all vulnerable now. Remember, we also have this AoE coming up. Yeah, that's one of the problems with Pepsi against a Hayl team, is that people don't tend to die for a while. Alright, the AoEs at least are gone, which means... Yeah, and the rewind is gone as well. So we do have an act again on Hayl's side, but for at least a couple turns, he's going to be relying on just smacking Lukcid's units now. So Lukcid units are hurt. What's this Oboro gonna do? He's playing it safe by using the Oboro to take out Sophia. That gives Epsilon a stack, gives him a little bit of healing. And now we're gonna see, this is what we've been waiting for some time. Is this Oboro gonna carry the match for Lukcid? Hayl needs a way to get rid of it. So Sage takes out the puppet, just getting ready to be able to one-tap that Lucretia here. Epsilon's gonna go for a kill on Liana, there's no chance that kills. but he's also potentially just priming her. So it'll force a heal now, and then Lukcid will be able to follow up after. Lucretia goes down. Epsilon now 3 stacks, fully healed up and shielded. The heart charging to safety. Get out of the fog. Yeah, you guys think that kills if the faction buff wasn't dispelled? A bulky Hayl Liana under Lando aura? Feel free to use your free Amazon Prime subscription if you want to subscribe to the channel and get access to my applesauce emoji. Werner's going to get himself reset. That's who's going to kill Werner. The old double cav Lando with 1700 attack. Will did it. Thanks, Will. Will did it for the applesauce, I know. Okay, we're down to fully stacked up Epsilon and an Oboro. Both of them ignore guard, but they don't ignore the auras. Okay, this Liana's totally toast now. The question really is going to be if Hayl can even kill these units. If he can't, then Lukcid's going to catch up in damage for sure. Okay, Sage AoE's off that shield. We're not going to see the shield come back for a bit. He didn't bring Hide because he knew he was up against a lot of AoEs. Yeah, people forget Lando can do damage. I think Hayl's Lando is a full moon Lando too. Absol, please don't range attack Oldius. I don't know. I think there might be a range attack into that Oldius coming. We'll see what those Crystal Warlocks can do. They're golden boys for a reason. I will say, my own brother is sitting on an Amazon Prime subscription that he hasn't used on any streamer yet. Months go by, ordering stuff from Bezos, and old Kong not even benefiting from it. Can you imagine? Is this a drop near Oldius? Nexus, I would say there is a 99% chance this is a drop near. Yep, there it is, confirmed. Oh, Boro! Survives with 800 hit points! Oh, that was risky. That was risky. Oboro survives the Landius charge, too. That Oboro has to get the hell out of there. And no, he's toast. Okay, so the Sage is dead anyway, so the Oboro's on-death explosion isn't going to come into play there. Yeah, I think that's exactly what Hayl wanted. He wanted that Oboro to come in and expose himself and take crippling Sage damage, and then he just comboed him to death. So is Lukcid going to be able to keep this Epsilon alive long enough to do enough damage to this Hayl team? Yeah, I think attacking anyone but Sage of the Trees there would have been probably a better option. I mean, it's natural to go for the guy who's a mage and not the two huge bulky tanks, but the mage is also the one who can do significant counter damage as well. Jugler taking one for the team and busting the shield there. He wants to get into the zone before Jugler freezes him out. And now just start pounding damage on these guys. So it's hard for them to really do lots of damage into this because zombies are going to do a lot of work to keep him safe and also keep him healed up. They'll take a lot of counter damage in return if they do melee him, and Lukcid is now ahead in damage. So, yeah, like Will says, that's a slow GG. What turn are we on? How many turns do we have to watch this endgame? So we only have turn 10, 11, and 12 left of watching these guys crash into Epsilon's spirit figurines. Just putting up some more damage on the scoreboard there, but also bringing Jude down even further, making him a little bit less effective. He does have his AoE at least, so that's something. It's not too bad, though. It's not too bad. Yeah. Hayl knows there's no sense in stretching that out. Nevercid really just had to press end turn 3 times there, and he won. So let's load back in and see how Game 2 is going to go. Alright, so Lukcid up 1 game to none. Players are now adjusting their formations. We may see Hayl drop Jugler back to the side box. Hayl would have won if Oboro died to Oldius. Yeah, I mean, he definitely would have had a much better chance. Having Sage alive against Epsilon. Okay, so as predicted, Jugler going back down, but bringing up Lana. And Lukcid basically changing his whole box. He drops Hilda, he's dropping the Werner, Azusa, and Rosen, and he's bringing up some AoEs. So he's bringing up his own Sage, he's bringing up Himiko, he's bringing up Angelina, and he's got an Archon as well. What kind of sneaky tricks are you up to, Lukcid? So first bans Hayl's Hilda, even though Hayl wasn't probably going to pick the Hilda. That's partly so that this Archon and the Himiko are both threats. Oh, first picking Archon. I like this. I like this change of approach. I want to see some sneaky Lukcid stats, and we don't get to see nearly enough Archon gameplay, so let's see some high-level Archon. Tristan says awful first ban. Is that an awful first ban for Lukcid or for Hayl? So the thing about Landius is he himself can't be displaced, but the units around him can. I don't know if Lukcid noticed in the last match that Sophia, at least, is definitely on electric headgear. So she's able to pass displacement immunity around to nearby allies. That is something that Lukcid may want to take into consideration as he's banning. So we did see him ban out the IBC, and largely that was because her defensive stance provides immunity to displacement for like 3 turns. Obviously with Hilda gone, IBC gone, Lukcid doesn't want to deal with displacement immunity. He's got 2 displacers here already. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know for sure, if this Rosen has electric headgear on as well. So here's our 3rd pusher. We've got 3 pushers already. Hayl's gonna go for the Lana. He brought her up from the side box, so let's see. She's got to do some work to prove her worth. Don't be surprised if we see Himiko 4th pick. There it is. Lukcid leaving Hayl with a bunch of shorter leg units who will have a harder time getting out of the fog if they do get fogged. But again, units that are fairly likely to have electric headgear. She does for sure, so that's going to be 3 units on Hayl's team that are immune to displacement. The Landius, the Sophia, and whoever Sophia ends her turn next to. Tristan calling Hayl for the win. Oh my goodness. Tristan is a true turtle push homer though, so let's see what happens. And we've got a Mariandel. Again, I don't know if she's on her custom hat or possibly also electric headgear. This being Hayl, I would not be surprised at all if he had electric headgear on almost everyone, just because that's the kind of, like, turtley preparation that he likes to do for himself. Will conceding that this is more winnable for Hayl than the last game? Yeah, I think that's fair, but it's also pretty clear that Lukcid is just going for entertainment value on this one. Nexus, I think that's a fair question, but there's also the fact that it's not quite as simple as just putting a turtle team together and like having the stats to win. Because there are a lot of players who've tried to emulate Hayl's box just by putting the same characters in. And it becomes very clear right away that it's not just about the characters that are in your box. Hayl's done a lot of preparation, enchanting his units in weird ways, focusing on very specific like stat thresholds that he needs that make Hayl survive a lot of games that other people who just try to play a kind of cookie cutter turtle type box end up losing. That said, by no means does Hayl have like a perfect win percentage. He's posted his win rate in the main chord chat a few times. And, you know, his win rate is between 50 and 60% usually, so he does lose his fair share of matches as well. Yeah, and that's a good point too, Dios, is that no matter how much electric headgear Hayl has, all that does is not like his whole team is going to end up in the fog, but certainly some of his units are going to end up there. So let's see what we've got. I don't think we're going to have anything too surprising here. We've got the push on Himiko. We've got full AoE on the Sage. And I don't think we're going to have anything too surprising over here either. So yeah, we have a full AoE Lana with Redeemers. She obviously won't be displaceable in her 3C stance. But we've got a big AoE here, we've got a big AoE here. Lukcid is just going to have to watch what he had to watch in Game 1, which is that Hayl doesn't have time to just paste down his units and win by Lukcid not being able to heal back. Yeah, Straw, I think that's an interesting point, albeit mildly toxic. That's why Hayl gets to Lang rank and into the playoffs and whatnot with such a relatively low win rate, because you pick to live and then you win half your games, and that's fine. You live half your games it doesn't really work. In a tournament setting, that is... that doesn't play out as well. Although, that said, here we have Hayl in the top 16, and he's been in the top 8 before as well, so I don't know if it's just prepared opponents coming in and not being able to take advantage, or what it is. Because theoretically, if you are running a 50% win rate in ladder and just surviving your matches that you win, theoretically, you should not win any games in a tournament where players can research your box and your style. Hey, every chat needs a mildly toxic Straw. Hazuchio would concede instantly into tank push. Is that because it's super boring? Chung playing versus Hayl feels like a PvE challenge. I think it would be fun if they took some random Apex player's box and made you fight against it for some PvE mode. Okay, so there's the static induction on her and her. Landius is also not moving, which means whoever's in front of Landius isn't moving. But Lana's pushable right now. Lana gonna open with a black hole specifically for Himiko, just because she can't be single target hit right now. Oh, and Lana does have the electric headgear. So everyone right now is immune to displacement. I thought she did. Let's see if Lukcid caught that in the buffs that came up, or if he's gonna try a pull here. Yeah, no, this is gonna be the end of Archon's turn. Jebaited. Now Lukcid may be checking buffs. There's a little electric hat. There's a little electric hat. There's a little electric hat. Where's her electric hat? I do really appreciate Lukcid going for this strat though. Like, it's such a funny strat. I wanted to see it work just because it's so funny. Don't like to see it work on myself, though, when I'm actually playing Apex. I've definitely been fogged and frozen by Angelina before. Was Sophia pullable? I thought she was the one who used electric headgear on... Oh, maybe Himiko stole it. Himiko stole Sophia's hat. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I guess that's an approach. He's gonna do a push here. That's not to push, that's really just to steal more buffs. And it's AoE damage. Himiko got a nice crystal healing off someone. Also got Lando's aura. Is Hayl's Lana still 5-star? That I'm not 100% sure. Damage up 7 for every buff up to 35%? Is that 5-star? To me that sounds like 6-star. Alright, here's another AoE. Hayl just dumping the AoEs out right now, trying to get that Himiko off the board. His team is also at full health right now. Alright, at least we know the Mariendal is on Tenyo, not electric headgear. She doesn't really need it though, that'd be overkill. By the way, Ninja Live 2, thanks for the follow. Sorry I missed you earlier. So the Mariendal does get pushed. Other than that, not the strengthiest AoE. Are you gonna get the kill on this, though? No! Now Lukcid is on the side of an enemy unit surviving with 800 HP. And Landius can just move up into guard position, so she's under guard now. Everyone tastily under guard. And she's gonna get healed up for sure here. This is what Hayl loves to do. Take damage and then fully heal it. Take damage, fully heal it. So, Angie's AoE is off the table. Himiko still has her push. Very injured Archon just has his attack. We do have the 3C from Sage, and Jess is back here waiting and watching for an opportunity. I definitely think Hayl's in a better position than he was in the last game, because Lukcid has a much less clear path to victory here. I think it's easier for Hayl to outlast this team than it was for him to outlast the last team. Obviously, having Oboro and a bunch of assassin threats who can actually kill your units means that you have to be able to work them down. Hayl can just kind of ball up and survive this team. Angelina potentially getting ready for another attempt on this. Okay, there goes the Himiko, dead to AoE. Hayl's team is full. Almost full. This Mariendal's not full. She's not being guarded, she is within the aura. I don't think an injured Angelina is gonna threaten to kill that. Okay, we've got the push instead. Back into the fog you go. She can still move out. Yeah, Lukcid knows. No sense in trying to keep crashing into that. Alright, so someone wake up Will. Game 3's about to start. Alright, we've got Floating Courtyard. Finally, Sky Map, Absol. Hazuchio, I think that was probably 50% Hayl strat working and 50% Lukcid strat definitively not working. So, let's not be too surprised if we see Lukcid drop some of these meme push units back out of the box for a box similar to what he used in Game 1. This is a tougher map to push on anyway, at least until you get into mid and you can start shuffling people around out of mid, but Lukcid is a smart player. He's learned his lesson. He knows that that's not going to work on Hayl's team. Alright, yeah, so Sage, Archon, Angelina back down. Lostum also goes down. This is one of Lostum's weaker maps. And we are bringing up Kruger. We're keeping Himiko as an AoE threat. We've also got Helena, also a good strong AoE flex. And Werner is back as well. So, responding to that Rosen first ban, Hayl is hastily getting rid of the Kruger and the Himiko. They're the two biggest debuff outputters at this point. Lucretia can output AoE debuffs. And Hayl is getting his first pick Oboro, who Tristan said earlier is automatic first ban against Hayl. So Tristan, you're going to get to see what you want. That's allowing Lukcid the opportunity to ban out Hayl's 3 favorite healers. Now Hayl still has a couple more healers in the box, so he's not going to go without, but it does mean he's going to have to pick one now. And forgo a tank pick. Unless he wants all of his healers banned. So he does secure the Mariandel. That gives Lukcid another opportunity to either ban threats or to ban Hayl faves like Landius. No, he's gonna just ban 2 tanks and let him have the Landius anyway. I mean, I think it's fair to say he was picking the Landius. Yeah, there he is. That was Hayl's 3rd pick anyway, so I feel like those 2 bans were possibly wasted. The other thing Hayl can do here is deploy Sissy White and cast Act Again on Oboro to speed up his transformation, so he can transform 3 turns in rather than 4 at full stacks. That would give him a head start on Lukcid's Oboro, unless Lukcid... yeah, no, he doesn't get his Sissy White. I ran into a guy last weekend in ladder who played basically Oboro and a full box of Act Again healers. So a pretty interesting strategy, which I'm sure works on ladder a fair amount. Hayl is getting a more offensive box than we often see him play with. Okay, Sissy's gone. I think that's a smart ban from Lukcid. Yeah. And Lukcid does get his T-Jess, which can help teleport Oboro around, just help him reposition. Hayl, this is what Hayl describes as playing Rush. So he has Cherie, he has Watham, on the sky map, pretty good. He's got his double Cav Landius, he's got Mariandel basically as his healer / AoE flex, and he has Oboro. Lukcid's going to need to be able to get to that Oboro. Meanwhile, Lukcid is back on his usual shit, which is just units that can heal themselves, no actual team healing here. Well, I guess she can team heal with her skills. She probably has Gift of Eternal Life. She can get some incidental healing. Elwyn's taking care of himself for sure. Yeah, as Hazuchio says in the chat, this Oboro can transform before this one as long as he maintains turn priority, and he can use the T-Jess to teleport him into position where he can take advantage of his early action. For his part, Hayl actually has a couple units that Lukcid wants to get rid of, so it's not as easy as in Game 1, where you basically have like one threat that you know you want to kill. So the players are just picking their skills, their soldiers, positioning on this map, and then we'll be able to join them in a few seconds and see what's going to happen. Okay. So we have a couple single target skills. Cleanse to remove some buffs. We also have Black Hole. Normal Elwyn, normal T-Jess. Everything looks pretty standard on Lux's side. We do have Gargoyles on Hayl's Watham, but no Air Slash, so he's not trying any turn 1 charge-in shenanigans. The Gargoyles just gives him a little bit of extra mobility around the sky tiles. We do have Heavy Centurions on the Landius to deal with that Elwyn, so at least Lancer troops. The Lancer's on Oboro as well, just in case Elwyn gets in that far. Zuko, that Landius is still mega dead. Still mega dead in theory, Zuko. We have to see if Lukcid can get his Elwyn in there. Jenny, it should be 3C as well. Remember, he also has to do it within the next couple turns before his one-time only faction buff wears off. Potentially boots. Blazing Sun on Oboro definitely wouldn't do any of the same stuff that like a bulky Oboro does. So it would basically be like a worse version of the magic full attack suicide build Oboros. Yeah, that's a good point. My Blazing Sun Oboro against Jormungandr was doing like 800,000 damage, so that was nice. It would be funny to see that in PvP. Moving Elwyn early. Getting him into position for launching an attack at the start of next turn, presumably. So he can reach now. I'm not exactly sure what the kill threshold is on that 3-move maneuver. Actually, yeah, that's a good point. He was only in position to do the 4-move maneuver. But now that Cherie moved up, he's in position to do the 3-move maneuver. So calves do more damage when they're attacking into a unit that gets guarded? Is that how their tech works? So Cherie's a nice dangling target there. Does Lukcid know about the 3-move maneuver? Stay tuned. About 5 moves from now. She's gonna prime him anyway. That's probably getting healed back up. She did steal Landius's guard. Not steal, dispelled. All he's got on there is his auras now. So that means Cherie's not being guarded. These guys are being passively guarded. But she's toast. Is that who Lukcid wants, though? It does need to be Sword Soul red. The 3C won't work. RNGesus strikes again. I mean, obviously that was very clearly and deliberately what this was teched for. The question is that what Elwyn's here for, to trade his life away for Cherie? If he goes in and kills that Cherie, Elwyn's probably toast. Is that worth it? Yeah, it's hard to say what else it was. Yeah, I mean, you say need 3C, but this Cherie's probably on Overlord badge, so the 3C, she wouldn't have gotten any debuffs from the 3C. Hayl figures his Cherie is finished, so he tries to get some remaining scrap of use out of her by charging into this Lucretia. Lucretia lives with 1% health. $240 hit points. Oh. I mean, I was gonna say Hayl can just pop it off with AoE now, but Vance is in range too, so she's just coming back to life. So yeah, here goes that first Lucretia life. And no, so Watham's essentially... Okay, no, he's not, thankfully. I thought he was going to waste that whole move trying to finish this thing off. But he goes further in, he goes in deep. He does clock, and Lukcid's IBC is off the table. I think this Watham is still toast, though. Alright, a little bit of incidental healing there, thanks to Watham. And now we are down to a tank, a Mariandal, and an Oboro, so we all kind of figured this was going to be an Oboro showdown. Elwyn hanging tight, he does catch a breeze back here. Happy to hang tight now. And then we'll see the battle of the Bobos. Well, even if Lukcid does know about 3-move, Red has said he's not set up for it anyway. It only works with Sword Soul, not 3C, apparently. Yeah, Johnny, Red seems to think that it's only Sword Soul. I am deferring to his expertise. But I don't think Elwyn's exactly going to need it now. That Lucretia just hanging on through everything. Hanging on through Sherry's suicide attack, Watham, and now this Mariandal. Moving out of guard range, I might add. So Lukcid has this one opportunity before this Landius moves back up to cover. Is he going to take it? Does he think his buffed Elwyn? This is grassland too, so he does get the extra boost for his unicorns if he wants to attack her from up here. Oh, maybe he can't get there because of the sword. Yeah, he can't quite reach because of the sword. I mean, he can reach, he just can't take advantage of the grassland. She does not have warlocks, she does not have phalanx. So, I mean, this is... I don't really see the Elwyn doing too much in this game other than this, so I don't see why Lukcid wouldn't take this golden opportunity. Yeah, so that's the Mariandal down. Elwyn's job is basically done. Well, I shouldn't say that. He can still 3C Landius, even if he's not going to one-shot him, although the Landius is hurt. But even if he's not going to one-shot him, he still puts a bruising on him. So Tristan would say that Hayl's downfall so far in this game was moving people out of his tank's range. Stay tanked! Alright, here comes Oboro into the action. This is going to kill the Lucretia and the Elwyn, thanks to the AoE. Okay. So, the Obobo show has begun. And ended. We've just got a solo Landius and a sword now, and this Oboro has not even popped. Alright, that's it. That's the end of the game. The Obobo show ended with neither Obobo facing each other. And that's going to be a 2-1 victory for Lukcid. Hayl taking the game where he was completely displacement immune against a complete displaced team. Other than that, in Game 3, what I think was most notable was that Lukcid just had a total stranglehold on the pick and ban phase. He gave Hayl the exact team that he wanted to face. Hayl didn't get to play his usual game of having, you know, his tanky 2-healer team rush to the middle and just outlast. He was stuck in the back pretty much the whole time and just letting his units filter out of range one by one until they were killed. So Very interesting games. Congratulations to Lukcid on moving forward to the top 8. I did not have a chance to look at the brackets yet to see who he's going to be facing, but I know Death Crystal's in the chat, so maybe he can post what the next matchup is going to be. And Hayl, super congratulations for making it to the top 16. Always a worthy achievement. Thanks for coming out to Summit der Langrisser and giving us a nice variety of boxes and games to watch. So thanks to both players. Thank you very much to everybody who came by to chat and provide some analysis and commentary in the chat as well. I always love having you guys here. Very entertaining. And this is your last chance to bring those free Amazon Prime subscriptions over here so you can start using applesauce emojis in the chat. Look at Will showing off the doggos in the chat there. You know, you're getting free shipping from Bezos anyway. Might as well kick a little bit of that over to your good old pal Kong. Anyways, I'll catch you all in the next stream. Gonna be doing a few more of these this week. Until then, I'll catch you in the next one. Happy Langrissing, everyone.